DC News Now is your local election headquarters. It is election night in Virginia, with the polls closing 1 hour ago. Hi, everyone. I'm Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Susan Tran. This, of course, is a historic night in the Commonwealth. Voters are electing Virginia's very first woman to be governor. There's also the race for lieutenant governor, attorney general, and all 100 seats in the House of Delegates.
Let's take a look right now across the Commonwealth, where candidates are hosting watch parties as those results now are coming in.
And you can see there is a crowd building there in Richmond, Virginia. The Democratic ticket is coming together there, while the Republican ticket is over in Leesburg. In the governor's race, we have Democrat Abigail Spanberger, who's the former congresswoman, CIA agent, and Postal Service officer. She got a rare endorsement by the state police union. During Spanberger's time in Congress, she's considered a moderate and ranked as the most bipartisan. And right now, she is up 54% to 45% for Winsome Earl Sears, who is on the Republican side, who served in the House of Delegates for one term. Also a Marine veteran. She immigrated from Jamaica to the U.S. when she was 6. She's the first black woman to win statewide office in Virginia when she became lieutenant governor in 2021.
And the race for lieutenant governor could also mark an historic moment in Virginia's history. Democrat Ghazala Hashmi could become the first Muslim woman or an Indian American ever elected to a statewide office in the United States. Right now, with 34% of the vote in, she leads John Reed, the conservative radio host, 52% to 47%. And Reed could be the country's first openly gay Republican ever elected to statewide office.
The Attorney General race, of course, very heated. Democrat Jay Jones is a former lawmaker, prosecutor, who has been saddled with the scandals during this election, including the violent text messages he sent back in 2022, which shifted the momentum towards incumbent Republican Jason Miyares. Right now, it is a very tight race. 50% with Jay Jones, 49% with Jason Miyares, who is an immigrant from Cuba, the first Hispanic American in Virginia to be elected in statewide office.
And we have so much happening tonight. Live coverage across the Commonwealth. DC News Now's Daniel Hamburg is at an election watch party in Chantilly. And our Ben Dennis breaking down all the big races that have gained national attention.
But first, DC News Now's Dave Lavelle has been there in Fairfax at the polls throughout the day.
Yeah, he was talking to voters casting their ballots.
I think it's amazing. I think it's about time.
Fairfax voters like Becca Lakin want to be part of history as Virginia chooses its first female governor.
I would love to see that.
That's huge.
Amazing. So excited.
Voters are deciding whether Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears moves up to the top spot or former Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger gets the job for one term.
I think a lot of us had hoped in the presidential election that we would be able to get a female president, but, you know, I think we'll take our wins where we can in getting a female governor for sure.
I think it's a reflection on Glenn Youngkin. I think he was a great governor, and I think Winsome Sears will follow in his footsteps.
The Center for Women in Politics finds 54 women have served as governor in 32 states and 2 U.S. territories.
So much of this country has been run by men that maybe having a woman in power can influence some changes that maybe have otherwise gone unseen.
With the state of the country right now, I think needs a little more help on the lower levels.
Voters believe things will improve in the Commonwealth with a woman's touch.
And I see a lot of families in my neighborhood being affected by different social issues, whether it's the SNAP benefits or jobs, especially in our area with the government jobs either being furloughed.
13 women currently serve as governor in their states. It's only taken Virginia 400 plus years to join the list.
All right, we are getting results. The Associated Press has called the race for governor for Abigail Spanberger, the Democrat. Right now, she has 55% of the vote, a historic win for her, becoming the first governor-elect for Virginia.
Yeah, coming just about an hour after polls close. And in the race for attorney general, this is going to be a nail-biter. On the left here, Jay Jones, the Democrat, just with a slim 1 percentage point lead over the incumbent Jason Miyares. Just about 40% of the vote in right now. Again, this is for Virginia Attorney General.
And let's take a look at the lieutenant governor's race. The results at 44% of the votes in. 53% going to the Democrat, Ghazala Hashmi, to 46% to Republican John Reed.
Yeah, so the results continue to keep coming in. Polls again closed about an hour ago. We're taking a real close eye on the Virginia Lieutenant Governor's race.
That's right. DC News Now's Ben Dennis joining us live. And Ben, this has been a tight, not as tight as the Attorney General's race, but very concerning for the ticket.
It has, and the polling has indicated this. That's why the end of the campaign was certainly one that a lot of money was poured into.
Yes.
And here we are at this very juncture. We just saw those initial results come in, guys. Both candidates call Central Virginia home. Longtime residents of the Richmond suburbs. Again, back to this point, 44% of the vote is in for the #2 position across the entire Commonwealth. It is a pivotal one because they make tie-breaking votes in the state Senate. There could be a number of bills that come up to play. More on that in a moment. John Reed at a current 46%, Ghazala Hashmi at 53%. Okay. Millions of dollars, though, have been raised in this #2 statewide slot. Democratic nominee Ghazala Hashmi is leading Republican John Reed by the exit polls by a slim 2%. Again, that vote is still being tabulated and brought in. According to a recent poll by Roanoke College, was that 2% gain. Reed is the first openly gay candidate for statewide office. Campaign issues that Reed routinely touched on included solving crime, emphasizing public safety, as well as cultural flashpoints, much like Winsome Earl Sears in the governor's race, including parents' rights and opposing biological males from competing in female sports. Reed and Hashmi agreed on some points, including goals to make home ownership possible, as well as achieving affordable health care. Hashmi's top issues included gun violence prevention, education, the environment, protecting democracy, and women's reproductive rights. Both candidates addressed this with our colleagues at Sunrise on the Hill.
Abortion amendment, which is a big deal. I acknowledge that. I'm pro-life. I tell people that. I'm not trying to, lie to you. I know I'm in the minority. But this amendment allows day of birth abortion. We're not even talking first and second trimester anymore.
That's absolutely false, and I hope that our constituents understand what is at stake. We're talking about key critical medical care for individuals, and I helped to draft that language for the constitutional amendment, and it is a language that provides necessary care for the full spectrum of reproductive health care.
How does the abortion issue size up to issues that drew people out to the polls, according to Emerson College? Well, it's the economy that was the top issue facing Virginians, 39%, followed by, in a distant second, threats to democracy at 16%. In addition, health care, immigration, and education. The importance of this lieutenant governor position is because they have an integral role in what bills get passed. They preside over the state Senate, and in a tie, they break it with their own vote, much like the rules that are in the United States Senate. Current Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears actually made several tie-breaking votes during her tenure over the last 4 years. We'll keep a close eye on this race and all of them. Chris and Susan.
All right. Thank you so much, Ben Dennis, for that breakdown for us. So Virginia, one of only 2 to have statewide elections since President Trump returned to the White House.
Yeah, giving the country really a glimpse of voter sentiments just a year into his presidency.
DC News Now's Daniel Hamburg joining us live at an election watch party there at the Backyard Grill in Chantilly.
Yeah, Daniel, good evening. How are things out there? What's it like out there right now?
Well, Chris and Susan, there is some excitement here with the election results. Abigail Spanberger, as you said, just called by the Associated Press that she will be Virginia's first female governor. Want to bring in here one of the customers here, who's also a teacher, Katie O'Brien. Tell me, you voted today.
I did.
What are your feelings right now as this race has just been called, projected?
I'm very happy that Abigail won. I think it'll be a great 4 years. She'll help the economy. She'll make schools safer. So I'm very happy that she won.
You know, as a teacher, we've seen a lot about education, of course, the economy here. What are you expecting her to accomplish? What do you want her to do in her first days in office?
I want her to just check in with the schools and make sure they're safe and that the kids feel safe in their environment and help the transgender kids feel safe and just help any way she can and make sure that teachers are getting what they need and they're valued and are paid more money.
You know, this has felt like quite a long election season. We've seen all kinds of political ads. I'm sure a lot of people are happy, are going to be off the airwaves right now. For you and seeing people out at the polls today, talking with your friends and family, what's the pulse like? What are people feeling about the divisiveness that we've had during this election cycle?
They've been nervous, I think, but I think everybody will be so happy that she won. I won't miss the ads, but I'm very, very happy that she won. I think it's going to be a great 4 years, a very positive 4 years, and I'm just looking forward to what she does for the state.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
So there you have it. A lot of people happy about Abigail Spanberger becoming Virginia's next female governor. We talked with some people, of course, who are a little disappointed at what happened tonight. But this is what is going to be moving forward. There are still several races that have yet to be called, so we will wait and see what happens tonight. We're live in Chantilly. Daniel Hamburg, DC News Now.
All right. History definitely made already tonight. Daniel, thank you. Still much more ahead here on our special election night coverage,
including a conversation about the historic significance of this governor's race now that the Associated Press has called it for Democrat Abigail Spanberger. Stay with us. You're watching DC News Now.